Okay, good morning, good morning. Let's do this. Uh, yeah. Oh, where's that game? Are we good? I have no idea. There it is. Okay, so today we are gonna spend an entire day. Well, not necessarily an entire day, but we're gonna spend the day inside my head, figure out how it works, and figure out all sorts of different and cool things to do. Good morning, crazy. Welcome. Sorry for the stream not being yesterday. I was planning on doing it yesterday, but that never happened because I felt like hell, and nobody wants to see me when I'm in a not feeling good. So, uh, yes, we're gonna try a few things. I have so many different ideas of what we can do with those. That distributor idea I came up with. Well, I won't say I came up with it. I'm sure somebody else might have come up with it, but what was I doing here? Yeah, we'll just go with a small one on this. Uh, I noticed an issue. We're actually still in the same world. The Redeemer Monument, the old lab, is just on the set. Lava Fields here, which is about, oh, I have no idea, about 3 or 4 kilometers. It's a bit of a ways. Allison, welcome. Oh, Anderston, welcome, 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 welcome. You know what? I got bitten by that disconnection bug again. It was. It's not this. Yeah, it's this world actually. It was. Which monument was it? Tartarus. That's where I set up the top secret experiment. And I was actually there, and I had the leads coming off the rotor, going right to the little panel I had with the 4 switchboards on it, and all 4 of them came disconnected. So what I'm gonna have to do is when I start making these things, I'm gonna have to mark pin 1. So if it ever comes disconnected, I can always hook it back up. But let's actually go a little higher on this one. I'm thinking about trying to get everything working off the same setup. I've also got a few other great ideas, like spring-loaded mechanisms. Was actually something I was thinking about. And then another one is I might be able to come up with a way of a perpetual clock, and it's gonna work on a spring-loaded mechanism, sort of like Minecraft. If you look at Minecraft, you hit a button, and if you get a line of repeaters going long enough delay, it'll create a continuous circuit. And I think this spring-loaded idea might actually work on that. But anyways, let's go ahead and get our rotors set up here. So again, we have the 4 pins. I've thought about ways of setting this up like the old... Oh, I don't know what the actual name of it is, but it's the music disc that's in a music box where it's got the pins raised up and it goes over, and the little tines that have the hooks on it, they grab the hooks and they make the sound, right? I thought about actually using this idea to create a large plate, for instance, let's say 12 or 14 long, and using the switchboards as, let's say, those pins, those little dots, but have a line of switchboards that are exactly 40, so they will only connect right in this spot, but not here or either side. So you can get like precise control and maybe get like programmable light displays, for instance. Or even ideas that I've thought about would be like a programmable maze that ever changes. Something that, for like mini games, things for the workshop. Things that people can do. Like there's just, I'm gonna keep saying it. There's just so many possibilities that this game has to offer. A lot of people may think that it's complicated, but it's not. It's all just basic stuff, really. Just basic stuff, and that's how everything starts out with this. The most complex things out there start with the most simplest ideas. Just on a larger level, right? So we're just gonna go ahead and we're just gonna use 1 pad, because 1 pad is more than enough. We don't want this thing going too fast, right? As is, I still gotta weigh it down. I might only build this up too high as well. But yeah, I don't know who it was, but someone actually suggested that using an idea like this would be perfect for the walker, and that's one of the things I thought about was a timing device, and that's what it is. The only problem is it has to be 40 blocks long for the time being, and there's no other way around it. Oh, that's actually not going to fit. All right, so it's got to be a 5 by 5 then. That's fine. Took the wrong block out. I'm actually surprised at how big these lava fields are. Like, I was coming across with the X-Wing for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes at... Jeez, I was almost doing 90k with that thing. And just booting along, doing pretty good. We need an undo button. We really need an undo button. Good thing I've done this before. You know, I don't think that'd be that hard for it to do if they're using structure files. They just keep a backup of the structure that's being built. And just hit the old undo button and it goes back one step. You know, come in so handy. Like, I'm sure anybody who plays this game and has ever tried to do any work on any type of vehicle would agree with me on that. Alright, where's that rotor again? That's not the rotor. Okay, let's not goof up this time. Alright, so I could actually make this a little lower then. Hover path could be there. Yeah. No, excuse me a minute. Okay. Let's see, hover pad. Probably should put one on the other side just to balance the weight. Okay. One. This unsnapping confuses me sometimes. Been trying to build it at a few times now, and it's kind of awkward because you're trying. A lot of times you're actually trying to count spaces, but you can't count the space when it's floating like that. So that's gonna be 1, 2. See, and another thing I was thinking about too, I can't remember if I mentioned it in the other video there, but I've noticed that the spinner, I'll call it the spinner control, instead of using the directional but the actual hover mode, seems to be pretty powerful because it was moving a lot of weight. So I've been trying to think of an idea of ways I can use that for the, you know, like the spider, because if it has enough power to move 2 beacons plus all that weight, there's probably close to 30,000 weight there at least. You know, I don't know if it's pounds or kilos, but you know, something like that might be able to work, especially if this spring-loaded idea actually works out pretty good. So now, the way I set this up is, again, it's all about timing and spacing. So what I need to do is I want to have these two at the point, so it'll just barely connect to this one, but it won't connect to that one. or it'll connect to this, but it just won't connect to that. And then again, someone had mentioned about being able to fine-tune things on like rotors and stuff, and it's something that I mentioned before, was being able to get to like Besiege level configurations. If you've played Besiege, you know what I mean. Alright, that should be good. So now, let's see, it's about 40 blocks, so I need 10 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, need the foundation then. So then, let's see here. I'm going to put a whole bunch of them down just so I can get a rough idea. Because I noticed I had to go sideways a little bit to fine tune it a little. So now I take this one. I'm going to find the one that it just connects to. So it doesn't connect to any of these. And it connects to all of these. Alright. So then that means we gotta add a few more. Hey, Jones Gaming, welcome. Just getting things set up here, just getting the first distributor, I'll call it, set up. Just trying to get that timing like right on. So let's see here, so nothing connects there. So as you can see, this is the only one that actually goes white. So this is going to be where I'm going to connect to. Now this one should not connect to the other one. Perfect. Now which one was that? That was that one. So now I got to get the rest of them out without taking the foundations out. Again. If only there was a way to shorten the actual power distance on these. This would make it so much easier. Okay, so now I have to turn this and connect them all. And as you can see, it goes white just as I push it out of range, right there. That's letting you know that it's not connected anymore. It's a little too far. Oh yeah, that's another thing I've noticed too. Those lines stay visible when you disconnect stuff or when you remove them. Let's see if we can do this up here. Take it for a ride. Okay, that should work. Alright, excuse me 1 second again. Alright, sorry about that. Got a bit of a runny nose today. Probably explains why I was feeling so lousy yesterday. But so now, if we drop the generator down here, we just connect that to switchboard. And we'll just give this a bit of a test run. What I will do is we'll just wire them up to a main board here. And this is what I did earlier, but as I was saying before, they got all disconnected, so I will have to mark the rotor on this. Okay, that'll be pin 1. Then we'll take number 2, number 3 goes over here. Did get it connected? Yes. And number 4. Alright, let's give this a quick test. We'll throw some lights on here. We won't be playing with hinges today. Now all I have to do is just power this. Oh, I gotta set it to hover mode as well. So it's not too bad. There is a slight delay, but that's not too bad. It can be, of course, fine-tuned. Okay, so now what are we gonna do with this? I'll just do some blanks here. A few things I wanted to work out. We'll leave that be for now. I actually wanted to try this other idea I had about making a spring. And it's all got to do with how much power those hover pads have. Now, most of the time I use these for movement. I always use them face down. I'm using the directional for it. So what I want to try to do is see if it's possible to use the hover mode to actually create more power. Let's actually just go with a foundation on this. So I'll do that. And we'll put a rotor on here. And then throw some blocks on it. I want to get 4 on here. And so what my idea is one hover pad's going to stay powered at all times, and that's going to be going in a certain direction. I'll have 2 facing the other direction that are powered by a switch. So they should overcome the force of the other 2. So when you power it, it opens. When you unpower it, it closes because the other hover pad is still being powered. In theory, anyways. But it should work. So then I'll go ahead and rotate this one this way. And yeah. So these 2 are going this way, this one is going this way. Now let's get the post on the old hot bar here. And that's just a stopper for now. Okay, perfect. And then we'll even do a test. We'll put some weight on this. There's something seriously wrong with these posts. I don't know why I always have trouble with these things. It's like the hitbox at the end. This is a little iffy. Yes, it's all about the grid system. I'm gonna be adding a building guide on Steam shortly. I was going to do it this morning. I just never got around to it. But it's all on a grid system. You see how everything I have here is built all connected. Uh, each block has a grid spacing. As you can see, everything goes one block at a time. When you're building with conveyors, you have to build in a straight line. You build from your container to your printer, but you place the printer on the conveyor. You don't go from one to the other. When you're building, I'll give you an example here. Grab a printer, and we'll grab a storage. We'll grab some containers, conveyors as well. So you place your printer down. Now, if you, let's say for instance, you want to go to a miner, you have to build in a line. So you would go from the printer, add the conveyors, then you have to add your storage container on afterwards, and then you add more containers, conveyors, and then any elbows or anything like that, then you go to your miner or whatever you have in the ground. It has to be done in a line. In most cases, if you're building, let's say here, if I were to put another container down here, and then I could build the conveyor to this because it's still on the same actual grid. But if I were to go place this over here, that starts a totally separate grid. So no matter what, it's never going to line up. And I had this problem back in the late episode 20, was it 28, 29? I was doing a big conveyor system and I was having that big problem. And the only way you can fix it is to take it all apart and start from scratch. You start from your, for instance, your exterior wall, and you build all the way to your miner. It's something I have brought up. Like if the grid alignment is the same, then it should try to snap to it if it can. But yeah, it has had confusion with a lot of people about it. Anyway, let's go ahead and try to break the game. Wow. I've actually been pretty good at breaking the game lately. I've been on my best behavior. Put that one up there. There. And why not? We'll just use these walls for our housing. Okay, so now let's get a generator. Yes, you always want to build in a line, and anything that's going to be off the grid you place last, even if it's going to be like this generator. If I wanted to have this generator off site, let's say to power a miner, but I wanted it connected to my base to get fueled by the refinery, sort of the process, I can't just place the miner down like that and try to connect it with the conveyors. You always have to go from your main structure. So anyways, let's, speaking of generator, we'll place that down. Get those switchboards back. And in this case, I'm going to use 2. Yeah, 2 will be fine. Okay, and then we switch all these to hover mode. Actually, this isn't going to work, is it? No, I can't do it this way. What I need to do is I actually have to close off those motors or hover pads. Okay, so we do that, and we'll throw a post. And it's not going to let me place that one, of course. Now it will. That'll do. Alright, so now I can go ahead and fill this in. So they are all on hover mode, yes. Alright, so we'll connect one there and there. So as you can see, that brings it over here. So this one I'm going to turn off. This one is going to get powered from here. I'm going to power these two. So when I turn it on, it goes the other way. Switch it off and it goes back. We have a spring. And by the looks of it, it has a lot of power too. Let's get a little better view of this. See, then you use an idea like that, hooked up with an idea like that, and you have automation. It's actually a good idea. I want to see how much weight this can support. Let's throw a base foundation. Actually, no, let's throw a beacon on it. The ultimate test. And of course, it can always be doubled up, tripled up, or BC sized, if you want to call it. Let's get out of here. So let's see if this can actually move a beacon. No, not quite. See what happens when I turn it on. Yeah, that's where you get your problem. I've noticed even under short sections, if you disconnect basically a separated grid into two sections, I've actually seen one end of the conveyor do this. So no matter what, it's never going to place. Once you split it up, you have to take it apart. Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. All right, let's turn this on and see what happens when we take that beacon off. Doesn't do anything. Just doesn't have the power. It's weird. Well, it's definitely an interesting idea. Might even I can always stick more on here. Top don't seem to be doing much. Let's try doubling it up. Okay, that one goes here. Some way, somehow. Oh yeah, it's not gonna do it that way. Because I gotta put blocks on it. See, now the way I'm doing it now with 6, theoretically I could have just, you know, I don't necessarily have to have it split up even either. But now this one won't connect. Why? I'm sure this wall's got something to do with it. I'm not too sure where I'm going with Hellion yet. It's a bit of time consuming. If you've been watching it for a while, you remember Tricorder from episode 46, 47, 48, 50, somewhere around there. He's been back around, but at the same time too, I don't know what's going on with the updates. We should be seeing one the next week or so. So You know, I might do something later, see what he's up to. I might hop on, do some stuff, but definitely try to get some other stuff up too. I'm trying to get my recording schedule back up to par. It's been crap lately, I'll admit that. Okay, we do that. And let's see. Oh. Hover mode. Okay, let's try that. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay. Okay, that's unexpected. Hmm. Oh well, that was that one. Let's go play with this thing over here now. Alright, catch you later. Alright, where are we at here? 10:30. So now, hand off that mouse. So let's try that other thing I wanted to do here. About trying to get like a sort of like a clockwork thing going using this idea, but using the springs with it. And then basically I'm just going to have a whole bunch of small spring-loaded springs, or hover pad loaded springs. And see if I can get them in a ring, let's say powering a bunch of beacons. Get a ring of lights going around. Like my little desert oasis. Came across the lava fields and I saw this and I was like, yeah, okay, this is the perfect place to set up. Okay, so now I need the right part in my inventory. Grab that. Alright. Oh, there we go. So basically what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get a bunch of springs powering themselves and see if we can get like a perpetual wave going around here. So this one activates this one, which activates this one, but at the same time this is only being activated for a brief second or two by this thing over here, or even just by me activating it at once. So it opens up, powers this one, and reconnects it. There'll be like a main power grid going around, but hopefully if I use the reconnection properly it should work. Put that one there. Okay, so I'm gonna need, yeah, I'm gonna need 3. I'm the master at floating blocks, I tell ya. Another one I was thinking about too for an idea was, I think it'd be possible to just set up a randomizer by using a few of these hooked up together. So, you know, it'd be like have one at a fast speed, one at a slow speed, so there'd only be certain times it would actually connect, and random times. I was about to say I need my coffee, and I realized I got coffee here, and it's going cold again. It's just not a live stream without cold coffee. Okay, so now hover pads. So I gotta make sure I have enough room for these two. Yep, should be good. So one that way. Two this way. It doesn't matter what side they're on, as long as I got two opposing. Crane Ball should add statistics into the game. Like, you know, like how many armor blocks you've built or placed, or how many hover pads you used, how many materials you used. Sort of like Minecraft statistics. It'd be funny. I'm sure there's a lot of people who like to know how many godillas they've killed. Almost done. Okay, now for about 1,000,000 blocks. And I don't have enough room here, do I? No, I don't. Okay, that one's gonna move. That one's gonna move. No, that should be good. This one does, though. see what. One, two, three. I swear to God that moon rotates. Because I don't remember that big giant crater before. Unless it's got changed recently. And let's see, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Doesn't matter, it's not like I care about the resources. Okay. I almost screwed up there. Alright, now I screwed up. Oh, it's bound to happen. I miss Junkosaurus being here telling me to save every 5 minutes. Okay. So now 1, 2, 3. It could be. I've had BCP labs for a while. I got that back in my Kerbal days. That's actually where I first attempted the spider. Hang on. Alright, sorry about that. I sleep. The problem is I have a herniated disc and I've had it for 6 years, so I haven't been able to sleep too well. I get like 2 hours of sleep at night, it's 6 or 8 hours of sleep, but when you wake up every 5 or 10 minutes, it doesn't help much. Or not 5 or 10 minutes. Every couple hours. I was joking around about it ever since I got into that accident. My bed has become my worst enemy. I go to bed at night and it feels like I wake up in the morning feeling like I got my ass kicked by my own bed. At the same time too, I have a physically demanding job that's highly stressful, and it's just something I don't want to do anymore, and it kind of stresses me out. But I do sleep. Yeah, well, I don't know what happened. I don't know if the guy was on the phone or he was getting off, if he fell asleep. I was waiting at a red light, and I was actually on a small bus, and the guy never saw the bus for whatever reason, and he ended up driving his car right underneath the back end of the bus, and his car came to a stop when his engine block hit the bumper. He sheared the radiator, top of his radiator off completely. When they drove the bus away, you could actually see the car lift up about 3 inches from it being wedged under there. The driver of the bus was off work for 6 months with whiplash. Me, I just toughed it out, and it ended up being 6 months of hell. It's nothing like it was before. I have my days, but probably shouldn't be doing the type of work that I do, but what can you do? Gotta work, gotta pay the bills. Believe me, before that day, I could sleep 12, 14 hours on the weekend, no problem. I sometimes try to sleep in, get like 8 or 10 hours, but go to bed at 9, wake up at 11 and 2, then 3 or 4. What can you do? I just call it getting old. Well, it's not, that's the thing, it's not pain anymore. It's a perpetual state of discomfort. And even then, this is stuff I've been doing since I was a kid, basically. Like, when I was a kid, I loved to build stuff. I loved to take things apart, figure out how they worked, and just tinker with stuff. I remember being 10 years old, and I was actually able to fix my friend's dad's tape deck in his car. I had a problem where it was eating the tapes all the time, so I took it out and I was having a look at it, and within about 2 minutes I noticed that the belt for the capstan was missing, so I put it back on. It was working fine. What really bugs me about the whole engineering bit is I never liked school. I never did. And I realize now, if I had stayed in school, I wouldn't be doing the shit job that I'm doing now. I'm going to be dealing with chemicals every day and The heat in the summer, the cold in the winter, the physically demanding job running around. My feet kill me. You have no idea how bad my feet hurt me every day. But some of you already know that's half the reason why I'm even here right now. YouTube, streaming, videos, trying to muster up every single ounce of energy and motivation to keep going every day. Don't think that I'm forcing myself to do this. You know, that's probably why you see sometimes there's a few days without a video. It's, you know, it is work. It is time and dedication. Oh, Lego. Oh, come on, man. I had Meccano. Lego, Meccano. I was 9 years old. I walked down to what was it here? I think it was Early Bird at the time. It was a local lumber store. You know, sort of like a bigger one like Rona and stuff like that. And I picked up a sheet of drywall, or not drywall, a sheet of 5/8 plywood. Carried it home. Took about 45 minutes to bring it home, and it was for my train set. I wanted to actually build like a mountain scene with a river and a lake and all that stuff. And I actually had a little modeling knife, and I was actually carving out the layer of the plywood to make like the stream and the lake and stuff like that. I was building up a mountain with 2x4s and chicken wire, covering it with I think I was just using plaster of Paris just to cover it up, try to sand it up. I even went to the extent of like making glue spray and putting the green powder you put down to make it look like grass and stuff like that. Really cool stuff. I was always a tinker. That's all I can explain it. I even went to the extent of building a log cabin out of toothpicks one day with a matching outhouse out of balsa wood. Had a little moon carved in the door and everything. Alright, where are we here? 1, 2, 3. I think a lot of it had to do with me being an only child too, so I didn't really have any siblings to play with. Moved around a lot too when I was younger, so I didn't really maintain a lot of friends, but you know, as long as I had something to do, that's all I really needed. Oh yeah, you mean the snap-on stuff? Oh yeah. Oh, believe me, I was there. I was there all the way. I'm sure I had at least 400 or 500 pieces. Right now, if you've played Minecraft and done redstone in Minecraft, you'll sort of understand what I'm trying to create here. Similar to a redstone clock. The Minecraft, you have the repeaters, they have a delay. You can link a whole bunch of repeaters together and get a perpetual loop, a clock going. And I'm trying to use that, or trying to create that using the disconnection feature. Something similar to the rotor here, but with that spring design that I set up at the other end there. So then basically these are all going to be powered one way. One of them is going to be powered to rotate the other way, actually connect the power to the next one, which will turn and connect the power to the next one, and turn to connect the power to the next one, and so forth and so forth. Meanwhile, the first one is already shut off, and they're shutting off, so maybe we'll get like a wave effect going here. Yeah, So you know exactly what I'm trying to do here. The problem with the switchboards is they're not one way like the repeater. It's basically like redstone wire. Yeah, I've actually thought about attempting to build a redstone TV in this. Sort of like my programmable display, but using an idea like this, but because the switchboards have a tendency to short circuit everything if you have too many connected at once. It might have to be multiple switchboards to have each pixel wired up independently on every frame, sort of deal. Yeah, I hear a lot about logic gates. I never really fully understand the term of them. I just basically doing what things I'm doing right now. Just more of a simplified version of it. Don't forget, I've only got grade 9 education. I'm not the smartest kid in the block. I'm just an uneducated dummy. But this should work, after all. This is the guy that built the gun. Reloadable gun. No. I haven't played Space Engineers, I haven't played Osiris, I haven't played Empyrean, or any of the other games that people have tried comparing this one to. No, before this it was Kerbal Space Program. All the way. With, of course, Infernal Robotics. Can't play Kerbal Vanilla. No way. Oh, I thought I was done. Not even close. Well, hopefully this will work. Still curious about how much power these pads are going to have now for doing stuff like this. Because if I can set up a walker with stuff like this, that'd be perfect. Yes, yeah, exactly. I'm one of those people that can, I understand nuclear physics. I have a full understanding of like Newton's law and inertia, kinetic energy, gravity, things like that. But you try to get me into things like talking about trigonometry, forget it. You've lost me. Yeah, I know what you mean, just like terminology. I sound stupid. But I got the smarts to back me up. Go ahead and blame my recreational activities on that one. Okay, and this one is... Oh, it's right here. That's good to know. It's funny too, because there was actually a couple of times I was actually recognized as, it's not something I'm trying to brag about or anything, because every time I've mentioned the word, people always try to tell me, oh, well, you're just trying to brag and trying to show off and prove that you're better than everybody else. But I did receive some recognition in my childhood of my intellect, I'll say, and did end up in a so-called gifted school, and that was that was a joke in itself, because gifted schools, you don't have to do schoolwork. You can do whatever you want because you're smart. But then was even in, it wasn't grade 2 or grade 3 or grade 4, I ended up receiving a scholarship for college, but again, I never ended up finishing school. Well, they do have longer blocks. Like they have this one here, 7 long. Then they also have the conveyor block, which is 8 long. I just do this because whatever. Well, that's the thing too. Is my mother never had to pay for it. It was covered by the government. But yeah, it's like most of the day I spent in the counselor's office, sitting on the couch reading comic books. It was great. I'm gonna take a quick 5 here. I gotta go feed that little demon, and we'll be right back. I don't know if anybody's seen this, but I'll pop this one up. This is something I found funny. I thought it was perfect for me, and I even tweeted this out a couple of months ago. But I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, let's get back to it. Alright, video there? Yes, it is. Okay, so now I gotta set some stops on these. It doesn't really matter which way they go. Let's see here. Doesn't really matter where they go because I can always adjust the distance on the switchboard. Ideally it would be better on this side, so yeah, now I just gotta start building these off. One of the things that I plan on doing, I don't know if I've mentioned it or if everybody's seen it in someone's post in the forums, but one of the things I'm going to do when we actually start getting the workshop and the whole blueprinting thing, I'm going to sort of get like a best of series going. I'm going to go through the workshop and find different creations to showcase and do like a weekly video, sort of like the whole Besiege thing's going on. And see if we can get the world to see what kind of builds people can do. And I'm not saying just like crazy ass stuff like that I build. Like, you know, like there are some creative people out there. Some people have made some very interesting, very, very stylish designs. And it'd be interesting to showcase some stuff like that. Still kind of curious about the size limitations that they're going to implement. You know, I know that helicarrier mine's pretty big. There might be a few people that want to play around with that one. Okay. We are good. So now the question is this actually going to work? I think it will. Should technically work. In theory, yes, in theory, that's what I meant to say. Nope, too far, too far. Ah, leave it. Deal with that later. Simple stuff like this. It's the first steps into programming, because that's essentially what we're doing right now. Is we're just basic level binary, on off. That's all it is. Don't ask me to try to get into like computer processors, because nah, I wouldn't be able to do it. But you know what? If I come across something interesting like this and other people can use it to make things even better, that's fine by me. Okay, come back here. Put you over here. By the way, Deep State, you're more than welcome to talk. certainly help me keep you guys a little more entertained instead of just rambling on to myself about nothing. After all, that's what makes the live streams, right? Nope. Oh, we have a blockage. That works. Yes, that was amazing. It actually did turn out better than I thought. Sadly, it didn't fly too well, and I think it's because I was using so many hinges. It was starting to bunch up and twist and all that stuff. But yeah, it's hard to believe I got that idea from Medusa. It was actually when I was actually working on her. It was just like it came to me like, yeah, I gotta attempt to make a dragon. Definitely moves really nice. Okay, now for switchboards, and lots of them. Yeah, this is gonna be a interesting one to figure out. But I will do it. I will figure it out. I've also been thinking about revisiting the pod racer. Maybe doing it a little bit differently. Because I was trying to get it going off of 2 chains. I might just have 1 chain that's pulling the car. But also make sure that that's not powerful enough to lift it off the ground. Okay, so now I'm going to create an inner ring. And this is going to be powering the return section. So basically, the spring at rest. Okay, let me do that. And I gotta switch everything over to hover mode now. You know, the funny thing about the dragon, it was actually an idea I was thinking about originally doing. It was supposed to end up being another idea, but I never actually ended up doing that. It was supposed to be part of the 100th episode. But I actually was thinking about trying to make Santa's sleigh with the reindeer. By having the reindeer sort of like the air blades and pulling the sleigh around like the pod racer. But I never really went too far with that. I'm sure that would have been the nightmare before Christmas. But anyway, I just love how the hinges move when you start getting stuff like the dragon and like even like my pet snake rivet there. Just it's almost like everything has like fluid dynamics to it. Even the gyro, the way how smooth that thing ran. It took a few seconds for it to catch up, but then it just was like water. It was just gliding. Well, I did do. When the hover pads first came out, they were talking about hover bases and all that stuff, and I went to the extent of actually building like an actual base on a foundation, putting 300 hover pads on it. The problem with that is one day it clipped into the ground, and that was it. It started sinking, and I was never able to get it again. Actually, let's not do that. Let's take that off. Let's do this. Do this easier. There we go. Okay. So now I gotta find out the one that's going backwards. Okay, that one is there. Okay, and that one. Yeah, it was huge. Did you see the lag when I was actually trying to move it? When it was stationary, it was fine. But as soon as I started to move it, like whether it be going up or down or left or right, there has to been, I'm going to probably guess close to 10,000 blocks on that. So the game trying to update the position of a structure that size was just too much. And, you know, again, that's just one of the many things I'd like to talk to Crane Balls about if we can ever get them to a stream. You know, sort of like a automatic adjustment of the game speed. And so when we're dealing with stuff that's getting really involved with the physics, did that not connect? Oh yeah, it connected to this one. That it slows the game down so it prevents things like the disasters we used to have. Okay, we are almost done. And let's see here. Okay. Stuff like that, and then another one that would, I'm sure a lot of people would like, is redesign the hover jack to be a stasis jack. And let's actually put this one up top. So when you have when you start building a structure on top of the hover jack, what it's doing is, instead of just holding it in place and planting it like it does, it actually creates an unloaded chunk. So it'll allow you to build with things like hinges and rotating plates where they don't actually move. Using a chunk unloading system, they might be able that, well, if they use the chunk system, then of course it's going to expand to the size of whatever structure is on top. Whereas the hover jack only works on the, I think it's only the 4 blocks directly above it. You know, that might cause issues trying to use it in your garage, for instance, especially when you have like printers going, because it's going to unload the chunks. It's going to prevent them from being updated. But on the reloading of the chunk, it shouldn't be an issue, I don't think. Okay. So now it's just a matter of hooking these up and then getting the timing right on this rod to power the next one. It's a really complex Minecraft repeater. It's exactly what this is. See, this is where something like the blueprint mode would come in handy. When you have a small little mechanic, well, I'll say small little mechanic like this, that you want to use multiple times. You don't have to spend the time trying to rebuild this and set your timing and configure everything. You just import it, place it on the grid, and you're good to go. Okay, that is all done. So now, let's put them in return position. I'll use a separate generator for this. Why not? So now, that moves them all to the return position. So when I power the other two pads, it's going to push them all to the opposite side. All I have to do is just make sure that the switchboard is just in the line of this tip, and it should connect. So now, how do I do this? These are all going the way they're supposed to be. Do a little bit of a flyby and just double check. Okay, hold on. Brain's got to work for a minute here. I know what I can do. I'll place another switchboard and place it on a block so I know which one to take out. Put that in the middle. Place the switchboard on top. Connect it to you, and then we'll connect it to all of them. See, and as you can see, it's pulling over. So it's going to have to be the halfway point. Might have to stick some blocks in the corners by the looks of it. Wow, we're actually out of power. Who would have thought? Gonna have to build a power plant. Alright, let's see if blocks will fix that. Yes. Okay, so I gotta put blocks in the corners then. And I think it might be a good idea to do a save here before I break something. Like that, you put a couple of blocks in and she tightens right up. I was actually hoping it was going to work just in the 7x7, but yeah, do need to have those blocks in there. You know, I'm curious about these large hover pads that they're coming out with. Are they going to be the same size as the air blades? Or are they just going to be like a 5x5 sort of deal? What's going on here? That's better. Alright. Okay, so now that's done. Well, you know what? I think the ceiling tiles aren't waterproof, but I think the foundation stopped the rain. Not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is from what I've seen in the past. Okay, so now... So now I think I just have to do a ring of these going around. And then I just try to figure out which ones I have to take out. And this way I can keep it compact, so I can keep the switchboards here and have them stretch all the way out there. Slight overuse of switchboards, don't you think? Okay. So, definitely could try that. Alright, so this is open. So now I gotta find out where this stops. Wow, this is gonna be an interesting one. Okay. That goes, and then this one connects back up to here. Wow. I'm not doing this right. Just need a minute here. I gotta do some work up here. Try to figure out what I'm gonna do here. So that's gonna connect to the next one. Oh yeah, okay, I know what I gotta do. These all have to be powered from the main source in the middle, so when this gets powered, it moves over and powers the next one. Okay, I gotcha. Okay. And this one is going to be like way over here. Okay, I had to make sure that was connected because I can't hear anything with the music. And yes, and it'll be this one. Yeah, kind of puts me on the spot. I'm more worried about boring people to death when I'm trying to do stuff like this. You know, I meant doing stuff like this is a little better to do in a video because I cut all this boring stuff out, but at the same time too, you know, I like to have people around. Maybe other people can come up with other ideas or suggestions. And at the same time too, it's not like I'm under the pressure to entertain about 3,000 people. I think there's only like half a dozen people in here right now. Alright, so that one goes there, so we go to there. That is connected. So yes, this should work. Okay, and we go there. That's also why I got the music going too. Not only to entertain me, but try to entertain people when I'm not yammering away about God knows what. We should be done this pretty quick here. Because then after this, all I have to do is just power all these and it should work. Because they won't actually be connected. Oh, I know that to you guys I'm not, but you know, not everybody can sit through this. I'll just straight up put it that way. You know, especially when I'm still feeling the aftermath of Probably the most nastiest comment I've ever had in my life. Someone telling me I'm like the most boring YouTuber they've ever stumbled across. They couldn't watch my videos because you were falling asleep. Alright, yes, that's the one we want. So, what are our predictions on this? Is this going to work out the way they expected? Or is this going to short out and cause a black hole that breaks the game again? Both. Oh, come on. It can't be one. It can't be both of them. It has to be one or the other. Me, I feel optimistic. Because I have been on quite the roll lately. Shit. This one's got to go the other way. Yeah, it's the only one that's backwards. That's fine. I can work with it. Yes, I can work with it. I hope I can work with it. Oh, just reached. Uh-oh. I need a few more switchboards. Wait a minute, is that it? Oh! That's all of them. Hey, it worked. Awesome, we're done. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn that off. It should return everything back to the home position. Except for that one. What's going on here? There we go. Okay, nothing else is crossed. Good. Alright. Well, as I always keep telling them, you know, I'm always willing to put the game to the test, push the limits. Alright, so now, we need, okay, another switchboard. I'll place this one here. So with this one, I should connect this one to the end lead of all of these. And it should technically work. World's biggest distributor. But essentially what I'm looking for is a perpetual wave. I know it's not going to be just off of one burst, but it's going to be self-powered. Oh, and there we go. Alright, so now, how are we going to do this? Where are we going to start this up? Let's... Oh, I know what I can do. I know what I can do. Let's do another switchboard. I'll place this one here. And we'll disconnect. Disconnect that. And connect you to there. So now, theoretically, this should work. Oh, I'm powering the wrong one. What concerns me here? I know what I'll do. We gotta manually start it. Makes sense. Hopefully. No, I'm gonna have to throw another hard pad on this just to get this one nudged a bit, I think. I'm listening to free music off of YouTube. I believe this is Ethan Mikesell. I don't know exactly what the actual song is called. But yeah, they have a free audio library. And I'm allowed to download songs and use them in my videos. Okay, this one's got to go the other way. Let's try that. What's going on? It didn't power it. Oh, wait, hold on. Did I goof something here? I think I goofed something here. It's reconnecting. Why is it not connecting to the hover pads? So that should be going up there to power those. But it's not. It's not connecting. Yeah, it's connecting. So we go over here, and it goes to there, which should go to the next one. Game's making me look like an idiot now. Or they're stuck. Like so. Okay, let's try that again. But still, it's not powering the next one. Why? Well, it's not fine-tuning. For some reason, it's not carrying the power over. Because in theory, it should work. I have that generator. That power supplying power to these nodes, which should be transferring over to these hover pads. But when it moves over, it doesn't connect. I'll show you what I mean. You can see this wire here turns blue, goes over here, and it connects over to here. Now this is powering these, but these aren't turning on for some reason. I do have power going to this, do I not? I wonder if maybe that's my problem. Yeah, I think that's it. And that was it. Of course. Okay, this is the one I turned off. Oh, look at that. Now it's working. Okay, which one do I turn back on? This one. Oh, it stopped, did it? Maybe I didn't get back in time. Oh, I got another one turned off here. Alright, let's try this again. How was I powering this before? I think it was this one? No, I was doing it this way. Oh, come on, what's going on here? Let's try this again. What I need to do is I need to actually start this one up first. But that's not going to work, so I gotta try to do it this way. Let's actually do it in here. Needs to be longer. Let's see what happens. Interesting. It sort of reset when I turn this one back on. Weird. Takes a few seconds for them to initiate, but they all turn off right away. I could almost play with this all day. Just watch this do this. But it's weird how as soon as I do that, they all shut off right away. I think it's because they're crossing. But that doesn't mean we can't have fun with it. Yes, let's get some beacons down. Why not? Yes, it is backwards. I kind of goofed on that one. But it's still working right. I just had to go to that switchboard over there and then come back. It did actually reach, but yeah, there's definitely some issues with the delay on this one. Doesn't mean we can't have fun with beacons though. But it does give me a bit of an idea. Set the distributor up on a really slow speed. So then you get sort of like a wall of light that shows up and then it disappears, and it shows up and it disappears. Would be an even an interesting idea for. I got that one doubled up. For like a large section door, for instance. Alright, let's see what this does. Hey Michael, welcome. Just in time. Been trying to set up like a Minecraft clock here. But hasn't been working out too well, but this is what we have so far. Gotta love it. Haha. The only problem is though is it doesn't do a complete circuit, because as soon as I shut this one off, they all shut off right away. And I was hoping that this one was gonna power this one and then power the next one, and this one would shut off and then it would sort of go in a loop. But as you can see, that's not the case. But it was fun. And this is a spring design I set up. It's just a shame about this, right? Because I was hoping that I'd be able to do this, and this one would stay open, and then it will keep going along the line, but yeah. It's almost like I need another hover pad to... Oh, I know what it is. It's that gradual hover mode now. They brought that out, what, a couple of months ago, where the hover mode gradually engages, so it doesn't just shoot up off the ground right away. Still pretty cool though. But yeah, this is all based off the spring that I came up with here. So as you can see, the bars on the left. Go ahead and turn it on. Or it's on the right. No, it's on the left. Or it would be if I put some proper blocks in here. That's the wrong button again. There we go. V. There we go. So essentially we have a spring. Does need tweaking, but proof of concept. Well, that's what I was thinking about. Like, I was thinking about setting it up on this rotor here. We might actually do that. I don't know what the speed on this is yet, though. I don't actually have this set up, do I? Oh, I did. Had it on here. And of course, that's the wrong hover pad. See, that's too fast, though. What I think I would have to do is I would have to disconnect that. And just grab one of these. Nope, not the beacon. Come on. Let's turn that off for a second. So if I can slow this right down. And the best way to do that is lots and lots of blocks. So I'm actually going to put a lot more weight than the other one. I want to slow this thing right down. Oh, eventually. I have the main post that got pinned in the Steam forums right now. I do have a couple other guides that I have made in there already. One of them's for the hoverpad railgun, which I will have to redo because of the new power. What else did I have there? Oh yeah, I had the powered light display up there too. But I will get into these, of course, if people want them. I know there's not too many people that really want to go all out on the whole building aspect of it. They like to just go in for the survival fun part of it. Now, can I get 4 beacons on here? Oh, it's doing something. I don't know what it's doing, but it's doing something. Okay, that should be heavy enough. Let's see what this does. Oh, because I forgot to set the return up, that's why. Wow, that's still too fast. Alright, that's gotta be slowed down considerably. Well, you won't be able to use winches because winches don't work on the actual grid. They're meant for off-grid stuff. Well, see, this is how I really saw it when I was doing the survival. It's not, the survival wasn't about building for the sake of building. It was, you know, something you do when like, what are you gonna do while you're stuck? There's not much else to do. I just look at it as what I would do is if I was in that situation, a real world situation. Okay, come on. Why are you not working? Oh, you're being difficult now. Too fast. That's the problem. Yeah, you can see the crossed lights here. And that's what it is. It's actually the delay. Got a slight flicker in there. But even stuff like this, like that link scale that I set up where it was so sensitive. All you needed was a little bit of weight on one side. For instance, you standing on it, and it would drop down. You could have something like that with a switchboard underneath it. So when you step on the pad or your rover drives onto the pad, it pushes it down, causing the switch to activate to open a door. That keeps it on some sort of timer, like this, for instance. And allows you to drive in and closes up automatically afterwards. See, that's a speed I'd like. Actually, I'm not even thinking about this one. Should have done it this way. Because I had made a variable speed motor, which is fairly simple. You just have one of these powering another smaller spinner, and then you can get a much slower speed. Let's see. No, this is actually got to be a little ways from here. Let's go put it over here. I think that should work. Put a couple more just in case. Good enough. On this one, we only need one hover pad. And then what's going to happen, as that one's turning around just with one probe, it's going to cause this to flicker. That flicker is going to be enough just to get this to move the slightest, which gives us slow rotation, which should give us a longer pulse to get some better delay in our light display. Alright, now I do like this. Alright. Now, switchboards. I have no idea, I just call them power lines. It's all they are to me. basically what they are. They're just lines of power. You think they'll see us? Okay, now the question is this gonna reach here? No. Really? Alright. And now that I realize it, I actually have to connect to I guess we'll just connect to this one. Really? It still won't connect. Come on. Really? That's not 40 blocks. What's going on here? Okay. That'll work. Okay, so now this has to go back. Sorry, I get amused out of that. Oh yeah, I need a switchboard up here. Actually, let's go the other way. Okay. All right, that should do it. Let's fire it up. That's actually something I'm forgetting about. I've got to put hover mode on this one over here. And that's going way too fast now. And why is it not powering it? Because it needs power, that's why. Need power for somewhere. See if I can tap in here somewhere. Okay, again, this one is way too fast. So now we gotta load it up. Now wear down. Yes, I'm actually BC, British Columbia, West Coast. No, as far as I know, it's still 40 blocks. There's always been 40 blocks as far as I know. Alright, let's see how that turns out. There we go. Give it that little bit of a push. Let's actually take some of that weight off. There we go. Yes, we'll go with Prodigy. It actually has to do with my original online name, but it migrated itself into BCP Labs and Kerbal Space Program and sort of carried it onto the channel just for the sake of it. So now is all about timing. I'm gonna see if I can add a little bit more weight to it to see if we can get all of them to light up. And timing is just a matter of adding more weight to it. Or fine tuning. Throw another one on the back, another one on the side here. See how that does. I can always throw a beacon on it too. And I like the sound of that. Get some weight on the damn thing. Shut that down for now, let it slow down. And we'll give it another shot, and then looks like we're gonna have to take a quick 10-minute break here. There we go. Oh yeah, because I turned it off. Actually, this gives me another quick little idea I wanted to do too. With something, just a fun little one. I wanted to do a multicolored beacon. And of course, a multicolored beacon means actually using 2 beacons. So we put the first one here. Of course, it won't let me place it. Because it doesn't have enough room, apparently. Okay, now, these aren't still shorted, are they? No, they're not. Alright, so now we need switchboards. There we go, multicolored beacon. Of course, the timing needs to be adjusted on that. And we'll turn this back on, we'll let the lights go, and we'll take a quick break here. Oh, I was off with that one. Alright, well, that makes sense. Anyway, yes, we'll be back. coming back. I don't know for how much longer though. I'm sort of hitting a wall here. Sort of was all geared up about coming up with some crazy ideas for this whole thing, but I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Oh, okay. One other thing we can do. This is something else I was thought about. Was where's this getting power? This getting power over here. Was having a 2-speed adjustment on this. Go ahead and place a couple of switchboards. We'll turn that off. We'll actually disconnect that. Connect that to there. That connects to there. And what do we have here? That's hover. That is hover. Okay. So we turn it on, we get one pad. It gives us 1 speed. We can go turn the other one on and it'll give us double the speed. That picks that up a little bit. That'll pick the speed up of this one a little more. I don't know why it's getting... Oh yeah. So I got these crossed, that's why. Should technically get more speed out of that. This thing looks like it's gonna break right off. I gotta admit, those rotating plates have gotten a lot stronger over the past few months. It's almost like this stopped. I can't figure this out. Too heavy. Too heavy. There we go, it's starting to pick up a little bit of speed. Oh yeah, I think we're just gonna call it here. We had some fun. Got a little technical here. See what I can do with that whole spring-loaded mechanism there. We might be able to do something with that. And this, there's always possibilities for something like this. You know, I've also been thinking of an idea of a sort of like a transformer of some sort. See how well that works. Yeah, well, I'm starting to have freezes and crashes myself, and I mean me, not my computer. Well, so you might have to do like the driver update wizard for Windows, get to check everything, make sure everything's all up to par. You know, I would almost say if you go do a big enough upgrade, you might have to actually do a reinstall of Windows. The best thing you can do is actually, instead of doing an update, actually manually remove your video drivers and then reinstall them, because maybe it's not replacing a proper driver file. Yeah, it should be in the control panel somewhere. Yeah, let me find it here. You're using Windows 10, right? If you go to Windows 10, you go to Windows Update should be in there. Not Windows Update. No. Device Manager. Somewhere in there. But there should be something about updating drivers. Oh yeah, you go devices. And somewhere in there. But yeah, if you do a manual uninstall, and then if you had software, or do a reboot, and it should 8.1. I'm using 10 right now. Yeah, I think if you just manually uninstall it and let Windows reinstall it, it should work. No. Well, anyways, let's go ahead and make a save here. You know, I started thinking about the disconnections too on the let's say lab lights. You know, I was thinking about these wires going missing. I'm wondering if it has something to do with the switchboards being moved. I cannot spell right now. Wow. Okay. But yeah, because I had the rotor moving, and the only wires that came disconnected when I reloaded were these ones coming off the pins here. Everything else was fine except for those 4 that were hooked up to this other little switchboard I had here, where my little connection terminals. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, that one's still on. That's why. That's why that thing was bugging out. Well, you know what? It wouldn't hurt. How long has it been since you've installed Windows? If you do a lot of installing and uninstalling, I recommend doing it every 6 months at least, or at least a good defrag. But Windows would definitely go better on a solid state. Same with everything else, but like I said, for recordings, you can keep those on a physical drive. It shouldn't have any issues. It's just when you're recording onto one drive and you're loading and saving off another, that's where you start having problems. But anyways, yeah, that's going to be it for today's stream. I'll try to come up with some really cool projects to come up with this, use this stuff for. Still not 100% sure where I'm gonna go. If I'm gonna keep trying to go with like builds every video, or if try to go bigger ones and just try to span them out over a couple of episodes. But we'll figure it out and play it by ear, and also it all depends on what Crane Balls decides to give me to play with and experiment and do all sorts of mad scientist-y things with. But anyways, I thank you all for watching. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next one. Later.